I was just taking a quick look at this new OSCAL PowerMax 2400. This is their newest model, and it's actually their smallest model. So we took a look at the 3600 about a year or two ago, and as you can see, it's quite capable. It's got that kind of large suitcase style design to it, and they even have a PowerMax 6000, which has got dual voltage output, in addition to a huge inverter and a huge amount of weight. So this is actually their smallest model. And what's really cool about this thing is there's several unique, innovative features here. It's not just a smaller version. And as you can kind of see in this picture here, it's stackable. Now that's just one of the unique features. So let's kind of go through, let's just go through all the little details here in this listing and talk about, what there is, what's special about this thing. Number one, the most important thing here is, how much power can it store, right? I mean, how much battery capacity does it have? Well, you can go all the way from 1872 watt hours, which is just, the one unit here. You can expand it actually with 10 extra batteries. Now, that would be quite a tall stack. So, maybe you could split it up. Maybe you could have two different stacks. I don't know. And what's really interesting about this is, I mean, it's a cableless stacking, yes. But what's super interesting, something you might not have expected, is actually the inverter is completely separate as well. That's a separate piece. And they're saying, that thing's only 13 pounds. The other units are going to be much heavier than that. But still, the idea is you can kind of, disassemble this thing to get it as light as possible if you need to move it, basically. So, that's actually really interesting, isn't it? We haven't seen anything like that. So, and actually, what's really cool too, you might be wondering, it looks like you can actually put the inverter on the extra battery. So if you don't have a need for any of the DC stuff, hey, I guess you could do it. You could do it. So kind of just a lot of flexibility here, a lot of different options. And of course, the best part is no cables, right? I mean, you don't have to deal with any cables hooking up all these extra batteries. So really cool. And for the output ports here, you get basically everything you could want, including wireless charging pads, all the latest USB-C ports, a lot of 12-volt options as well. In fact, we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more here. And yes, for the inverter, it's a 2400 watt pure sine wave. And they do say a proper 4800 watt surge on this thing. Now, actually, this graphic isn't quite right. They're saying, yes, it does have a pure sine wave. And they're saying in comparison to the modified sine wave, which looks like in this image just doesn't have stable voltage. Modified sine wave actually goes like this. It goes in steps, right? So, I don't know why it's kind of weird that they didn't get that right. And then for the charging, everything is on the back side. Well, the main inputs for the charging are on the back side. On the right, you can see it's just a standard wall cord. There's a bidirectional inverter. You can do up to 1500 watts. Now, that's good for the single units. If you got a lot of extra batteries, it's going to take a long time, isn't it? But there is DC, there's solar. There's an XC60 on the left. Now, they don't give the actual specs on this as far as the volts or amps. What they do mention is 800 watts. And they like to talk about this balcony solar grid tie microinverter system. It's a separate box panel. I can't even find that available here. That might be something that's only available in Europe. So, but either way, you should be able to do 800 watts. Just hopefully that XC60's got a decent voltage range. I think it might, because actually on the front of the unit, there's another DC input, a 7909 it looks like. So that one's probably like a low voltage PV input. So that would make it more likely that the XC60 on the back is a high voltage input. But again, they don't actually talk about the solar at all. So other than that 800 watts. So that's just something to keep in mind. And speaking of DC stuff, this is really cool. This is the DC output, not inputs. But something that you don't really see a whole lot of is you can actually switch it. So you can see, there's 12 volts, or you can switch it to 24 volt output. So yeah, really cool. And that little light will either be green or red. And then they're also claiming 0 decibel whisper quiet. Yeah, that's completely quiet, silent, isn't it? So now, yes, there's an asterisk here. That's below 480 watts. So yeah, utter silence, yes. So of course, it's going to be quiet. But if you exceed 480 watts, 480 to 1200 watts, it's going to be between 30 and 45 decibels, leaf rustling. Yeah, I mean, it's going to make some noise, some fan noise, but it's not going to be loud. It's not going to be annoying. Here's the thing you got to watch out for. If you exceed 1200 watts, yeah, up to 58 decibels. And this, I wouldn't call that a rain whisper. I would call that like a downpour. In fact, that's kind of what that looks like, doesn't it? So that would be very loud. That would be very loud. If you're running high loads with this, it's going to be very loud. If you're not, then yeah, it's going to be quiet, of course. So, and kind of interesting too, up here. Up here, they actually give the specs on the fans. I haven't seen that before. So there's 4 of those fans. And let's see, what else do we got to talk about? Yeah, how about the batteries? What are they? We talked about being able to expand it up to 20 kilowatt hours. UL certified EV grade LFP batteries. So pretty good, 3,500 cycles. Yeah, to 80%. So yeah, that's as good as it gets, really. How about an ultra fast UPS, 10 milliseconds or less? Actually, in the description here, they say 5 to 8 milliseconds. So even better. That's really fast. That's basically as fast of a switchover as you're going to get without going, to an online UPS. So really cool, nice specs here on basically, all the main things that you buy a power station for. Right now, so now let's get into some of the more unusual features here. We talked about the stacking. So that's one kind of, special unique feature, especially with that detachable inverter. But there's some other cool things here. In fact, this one you might not have seen this coming. How about powerful dual speakers? There's a 30-watt subwoofer and a 12-watt tweeter on the side of this thing. So, yeah, maybe you did notice that when we took a look at it in this image here. Speakers right on the side of this unit. So, and you can control it. Yeah. There's actually, there's a music controller right built into the power station. So, yeah, connect Bluetooth, whatever. You can even, equalizer there as well. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. It is kind of a good idea, isn't it? If you're camping with this thing or something, or if the power is out, right? I mean, it just makes the time go by faster, right? If you got some music to kind of brighten the mood. So, and they're saying, in fact, you can also use this as an emergency escape device. You can drive away threatening wildlife. So, hey, if you got a grizzly coming up on your campsite, you forgot your bear spray. Hey, maybe I don't know. Maybe you can, put something on these speakers at max volume. Good luck. Hey, I'd say good luck doing that. But if it's a last resort, I don't know. Maybe that might work. And this product does support an app, so Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and there is a light on the front of the unit as well. Kind of a nice, broad. It's not just a little spotlight. And there's 2 different brightnesses as well. Dim and a bright mode, which is nice. And then of course there's the SOS and I guess just a random flashing mode. And it'll also do like a breathing mode, so slowly on and off. But what's really unique about this product is you can actually send messages through Morse code. So evidently, I don't know, you must have to use the app, right? And maybe there's like a little section in there where you can type in a message and then it'll actually, yeah, send it out.